Okay.
Wow. Abby, it's good to see you online. It seems like we
Good
are
to see you
online
too.
now. It's
It's
incredible.
a long time. I thank God for, internet. It makes the world
Yeah,
smaller.
yeah, absolutely. Because
Yeah.
it's been like quite a few years, hasn't it?
Yes, yes, yes. How many
It's
years
been,
are those actually?
I think the last time we met was physically was in 2009, if I'm not wrong. So it's been, imagine, from
Mm.
almost 14 years.
Ooh, yes,
In,
yes. It's actually 14 years.
Incredible. But
Mm.
glad to see you here, Abby. I know we're expecting some people to join, hopefully over time, because we said it's gonna be from 2 p.m. So it might be just some people that want to wait until it's exactly bang on 2 p.m. for them to be able to join. I'm going to try and see if I can
Yeah.
do all messages so that I can see them as they come in to live chat. That's fine. And then hopefully when we get to two, we'll just get ourselves started for sure.
Okay.
Lovely. Let's see. Let's see. How do I get to see those messages? I don't know. Anyway, we've got still a few more minutes to go. So we have about 3 minutes to two, which is good. So at least we'll have there's somebody who's messaging there. So I think uh I think I'm gonna add, because I think that's Isabella. I'm going to add you as a managing moderator. Can manage blocked words, can review and remove any chat messages and put users. I think you can do that, so she'll be fine. Yeah, so I know that's my good friend and colleague Isabella
Mhm.
that I've just made to
Okay.
be a moderator, so that we don't end up having to worry much about the charts, about
Yes.
things like that, so we can start. So I think
Oh,
we will do officially start now. It's 2 more minutes to go, but why not? We can start now. So good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good day, depending on where you're watching us from. I'm delighted today to have my dear friend and sister, Abby. Abby and I have quite some good history. We've been friends like for so long. A minute ago, we just catching up, reminding ourselves it's been a little bit of a while since we physically saw each other, but we thank God because we have continued to be in touch and we know a little bit about what's happening in each other's life. And it's such an absolute pleasure and an absolute joy and delight to be hosting Abby today and this afternoon on this channel. Those who are new here today that don't necessarily know who I am, I'll do a very brief introduction of myself and then I will give it over to Abby because I run a channel on nutrition and health. I'm having a little bit technical glitches, but don't worry about it because we will sort that out as we go along. This is the first time again we are doing this together, so we don't expect perfection, but we'll get that sorted out. So saying I am a registered nutritionist, hence the reason why I run a channel on nutrition. And Abby seems to be like just the perfect combination or pair of what I'm doing. I don't want to spoil a lot anything, so I will allow Abby to be able to talk about what she does in a minute. So if you're new here, we are glad to see you today. Consider coming back, rewatching these. If you find it interesting, if you want to support us, like, subscribe, whatever that you want to do, we'll be more than happy and delighted with your support. Without further ado, it's 2 p.m. sharp on the dot. I'm going to hand it over straight over to you, Abby. So a little bit, Abby, if you talk, start as a little bit of introduction about yourself. Who are you? Who is Abby?
Oh, thank you, Claire, for having me today. I am so grateful to be hosted by you today. So it's great to reconnect after a very long time. So Abby is a Kenyan girl from a town in Kenya known as Nakuru, and I am a life. I
Mm,
do life coaching, but before that, I am a wife and a
mm,
mother. I am married. I'm a mother of four, and I thank God for my journey as a coach, which began a few months ago.
mm,
Uh, Professionally, I am an agriculturalist. That's what I've done in Campus. When we
mm,
were together in Campus, that's what I did. But then I have switched to doing my passion now, something that I love, something
mm.
that I have always wanted to do. And finally, I got the muscle and the courage to go do it. So that's Abby in a nutshell.
Amazing. So, as Abby has mentioned, we were in campus together, so we used to do like all this campus stuff together. We've been even to prayer meetings together, haven't we? It was like
Yes, yes, I
really quite.
remember.
Yeah, it was. She
Yes,
was.
yes,
I mean, I don't want to say she was because she's still quite a very good friend, and
yeah.
as she says, she's just a delight. I'm sure you know by now, and you can hear from her sweet voice. She's a delight to
Thank
listen
you.
to. You're welcome. So, just that before we go into so much of these official stuff where you'll talk about life coaching and everything, Abby, what do you love to do during your free time? You've already said you are a.
Sorry, I think there was a hitch there.
Mm. So I was asking you, what are like your hobbies? What do you like to do in your pastime?
Uh, for anyone who has visited my channel, by now they could know I love fitness, walking. I really love walking. So I
Mm-hmm.
just get out in the morning, go walk. I love reading. I
Mm-hmm.
also love just sometimes I'm not a perfect swimmer, but I go swimming at times.
Oh
So,
wow.
but things to do with fitness, things to do with reading, those are
Mm,
hobbies. Those are the things I really, really love to do. So I
amazing. So
really enjoy them. Yes.
yeah, so you just said a minute ago that you have had to retrain because when you were in Egerton, you
Hmm.
weren't doing life coaching at all. I can tell you that you were
Hmm.
never into life coaching at that stage. Not you were never because there are some things that you can just be passionate about, but can sometimes delay and then they end up coming to you later. So if you talk us a little bit about life coaching, what does a life coach really do? What does it mean with life coaching?
Let me first bring you to where my life coaching passion began. Right before I joined IGA,
Mm,
I, uh, from childhood, from my young age, I really wanted to do something to do with counseling, psychology. You know, I knew that as a child, I knew that as a psychologist or a counselor, I'd be able to read human minds. So I
mm,
really loved that. I wanted to do that, but then, the ministry selection landed me to agriculture.
mm,
When you are admitted to a university, what do? You look for people and
mm,
then you ask for advice. What do you think? I've been admitted to go do agriculture,
mm,
but then I really love psychology. And
mm,
then these people tell me that no, 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 agriculture, you'll have money, you'll have jobs, but then psychology has no market. Oh my, they were so wrong.
mm,
So I got to discover that later.
mm.
But then I come to a point where life, things happen in life.
Yeah.
So I come to a point where life happens, things get tough,
Mm,
and I'm wondering, who do I turn to? Of course, we turn to prayer and we do all those sort of things. But
mm,
then by God's grace, I meet a life coach.
mm,
And through our interaction, through the several sessions that we had, I had a turnaround. Things in my life took a 360-degree turn.
Wow.
And so I got interested into this thing that has touched my life.
Mm.
How can I, get into it and touch other people? And so that's how I got into coaching, began searching for schools
Mm.
and searching for where I could learn coaching, and
Mm.
finally landed myself in a coaching school. And so that's why I'm doing coaching today.
Wow.
So
What
back
a
to your
journey.
question,
Mm-hmm.
what, yeah, what is life coaching? So coaching in itself, many people are aware of football coaches, basketball coaches, and all those coaches. I'm sure many people know those, because before I met my coach, I didn't know at all about life coaching. I
Mm.
think it was just sheer coincidence that we met.
Mm.
And coaching is a field in which as people who feel stuck, who feel like they need some refueling, some re-energizing, that is a field where they get help. So as a coach, we get you at the point where you are, and where you're feeling like I need to do better than where I am today. And
Yeah.
then we work together to get you to where you want to be. So life coaching is just a field in which you get somebody, somebody asked me, so how do you coach life? And I always say that most of us are living life
Mm.
in the space where we are short, I don't know the right word, but we are like short living. Is that the right word?
Yeah.
We are
Yeah.
not living up to the standard that we are meant to live.
Mm.
So when we get into life coaching, a coach works with you to get to where you really desire to be through a path that you design together.
Wow, amazing. That's really incredible. And I can see
Thank
quite a
you.
few people online. So if you wanna leave a question for Abby, because I'm sure she'll be answering some questions as we go along, please feel free to leave them in the chat section below. We've got our dear friend of ours, Isabella, who's monitoring those chats for us, and we'll be able to go in and answer them before this session comes to an end. Also, if you leave us like a message just in the chat below, just say to us where you watching us from, because I know Abby has said she's a Kenyan girl. I am a Kenyan girl as well. So there might be people from all over the world, hopefully, who are watching us. If you just leave a message for us in the chat and just say like, where are you from? Or if you have a question as well, I know Abby will be more than happy and willing to answer that. And she's just talked about such
Mhm.
an incredible story, isn't it? Such an incredible thing that she discovered, maybe from the moment of a crisis, that she needed something in her life. And then that has actually changed her life around. And she wants to do that to other people, which is just so amazing. So, Abby, I've now heard this story of how a life coach works, which is something as well for me. I didn't know about this. She's been like
Uh-huh.
educating me, and I'm so glad I now know what
Wow.
or who a life coach is. But what is the
Mhm.
difference between life coaching and therapy?
Yeah, actually, that's a very good. Thank you for the question. Many people confuse therapy, which is sort of counseling, and life coaching.
Mm.
And coaching, there are several. Coaching has different lines. It has life coaching, which is one. There's health coaching and all those. So different coaches specialize in different lines. So personally, I have taken life coaching.
Mm.
Uh, Now, coaching, as I have, takes you from where you are to where you are going.
Yeah.
Maybe looks just a little bit into your past, but focuses more onto where you are, and then now sees how can you get to your vision, to the place you want to be.
Mm.
But then therapy goes to your past and sees what is in your past. What are the traumas in your past? What are the wounds in your past? Those
Mm.
things that are hurting you to date, and goes into details to heal them to get you to a better today. So that's the difference, that therapy goes really into your past, but coaching focuses more on your today, and then now how to get you from today to your desired future.
Absolutely. And some people may be watching today, and if you need life coaching, you know now the difference is working from today going into the future. A little bit more complicated with my internet today, but don't worry, we'll get there in the end. So,
It's
saying
okay, it's
like
okay.
when it comes to life coaching, is more into so much on forgiveness. It's something that we'll talk a little bit about later.
Mm-hmm.
You focus
Mm-hmm.
much more into mindset shift. And sometimes there might be times that you just need that working through life, working through those wounds, working through trauma, so that you can be able to deal with kind of, so to, if you say the past, close the door and then get into a life coaching to move on.
Yeah.
What do you think about it, about just what I've said?
Yeah, in life coaching, we don't ignore your past. We
Mm,
don't totally ignore your past. We go slightly into your past, but we don't go so deeply into the past.
mm,
Life coaching will be better for someone who is healthy,
yeah.
someone who is okay, but therapy goes for even somebody who has a mental issue, who
Mm,
needs to be sorted. So
mm,
therapy will go into the wounds, the deep wounds down there. So if somebody came to me and they had very deep wounds, I would then have to refer them to a therapist. Then
yeah.
maybe from the therapist, they would come back to me.
Mm,
So therapy goes deeper into
mm,
looking at where are you, why are you here? Like somebody who has been, for example, raped in their childhood, and now
mm,
they are unable to get over it in their
mm,
current life, and it
mm,
keeps dragging them behind.
mm,
Coaching can help, but if they are too wounded, then they would need therapy for them
yeah.
to overcome that. Yes.
Yeah, but I would imagine as well, thank you so much for that, that it will start from maybe coming to work with a coach, is it? It's a saying, Abby, this is what I'm going through. And then from there, you'll be able to listen to their story. You'll be able to say, okay, I
Mhm.
feel like from here, I will refer you to start with the therapy first and then come back and do life
Mhm.
coaching and things like that.
Yes, yes. As a coach, when you come to me, we have one session that we do. The very first session that we do is just getting to know where you are, what you're
Mm,
looking for, because sometimes people go to a coach and they don't know what they want.
yeah.
They are not even sure of what they want. So together we help you navigate that path to know this is where I am, this is
Mm,
what I need, this is exactly, like somebody who is, for example, I can't go to a mental hospital and do coaching there. It will not really work so well. But
mm,
for a therapist, it can work with them. So, but
mm,
somebody who comes to me, the first thing we do is find out where are you, what exactly do you want, what would you want to achieve, and
yeah.
then from there we now see this is the path we are going to take. You're fit for this program, you're fit for this one, and now that the journey begins there. Either the journey begins with a coach, or you are
Mm.
referred to someone else who works for you better.
Amazing, amazing,
Yeah.
lovely. So, why do you think somebody will actually need a life coach? Is there a reason why life coaching is necessary?
Yes, yes, I would say maybe by saying why I needed a life coach
Yeah.
myself. Because as I've said, I got into life coaching because I got coached first.
Mm,
Most of the time, people seem okay, but they feel stuck. They feel like, they know where they know like where they are. is the best place for them. So, for example, you're stuck in a career, you're stuck in a relationship that you're not sure whether it should take east or west direction. You're stuck in, unforgiveness. Like for me, that was one area I was stuck in. Maybe you're struggling with a low self-esteem, which many struggle with, so they don't move. Maybe you just need to be energized to move into your purpose. So coaching comes to bring in clarity, to help you see where you're supposed to go. Together, actually, in coaching, you will be surprised that most of the answers to your questions come from you as the client, not even for you, because coaching is not advising. Coaching, I don't come to you as a coach and you tell me, now I've been in this job for the last 10 years. I'm not happy. I'm not excited about the job. What do I do? So I don't start telling you now, go quit, go do this and that. No, we go through things. Maybe we find out, what do you like doing? Why are you not doing what you like doing? And then from there, we navigate a path that will get you to what you really want to do in life. Yes.
Yeah, because as you're talking about that, it makes me think about like the many times that you can feel stuck. You're feeling like I'm stuck with something, yet you are actually the owner of the solution to your problem. And when you identify, as you're saying, that life coaching, it helps you to realize the potential. I think that's the word that I'm hearing
Yes.
from you talking, like
Mhm.
you have potential in you. And if you ever did physics in school those days, there's the active energy and there's that potential energy that just needs something to propel it to kind of get into action, to inertia, so that you start to move. And it does feel to me like that's how a little bit of life coaching is like.
Yes. Actually, in coaching, as a coach, we will use many questions that trigger you into action. For example, you are stuck, let's say, in a job, and then you come to me and I ask you, so you wake up every day, you're at work at maybe 9 or 8 and leave at 5, but you're not happy. So what exactly, what picture, how do you picture your life to be without this job? What do you think you would do better? How can you actually get there? And maybe you're stuck in unforgiveness. The questions that come are like, so how does unforgiveness serve you as a person? How does it make you a better person? For example, I remember I went for my forgiveness program. The coach asked me, the question that triggered me was, she asked, so do you want to forgive? And I said, no, I don't want to forgive. And she asked, why? And I said, I feel that if I forgive, then I will be taken advantage of, and this person will just want me. And then my coach asked, so let's look at the other side. What does unforgiveness do for you? How does it actually serve you? And so when I looked at it deeply, I was the one suffering, I was losing. And so it triggered me to think, oh, so I'm actually working against myself. So now that gives interest, because as I have said on my channel, I've shared my story. As I've said, when I went into that program, I went in one foot in and the other out, because I was not actually willing. I was not willing to. So when I got in there, I was like, let me go. If it works, fine. If it doesn't work, fine. But then after 1-2 sessions, I thought, no, this is it. This is actually what I want. So it's a series of questions, a series of triggers that get you to work out your solution to what you actually want to achieve in life.
Yeah, and myself as a nutritionist as well, if you come to me, for example, and you tell me you want to lose weight or you are dealing with a given, we don't deal with diseases because our aim as a nutritionist is to prevent those diseases. And once you have a diet-related disease, it's the responsibility of the dietitians to kind of work
Mhm.
through with you through the program of healing and things like that. But if you come to me and say, Claire, I'm interested in losing weight or I'm interested in a given target of my life or things like that, I will also start asking questions. So I'll go back into
Mhm.
like, why do you want to lose weight? Because some people want to lose
Mhm.
weight and they just want to do it for the sake of it, which is amazing. But when you get to the deep core, I usually say the 7 levels of why, it gets to a point that you're like, I'm in all of it. And once you're in all of you, it's
Mhm.
much more easier to commit to it. For example, as you're saying from your situation, you got in and you're like 1 foot in, 1 foot out. But once you started to realize the importance and the significance and the why, you actually got yourself fully immersed into it. And at the beginning of this year, I read a book, Purpose Driven Life, which is a book that I think most of you will have read, or if you haven't, I will highly recommend to read it. And
Mhm.
this guy was saying, if you don't know the purpose of something, you know, abuse is imminent. You're going to abuse it if you don't know the purpose of your body, if you don't know the purpose of forgiveness, if you don't know the purpose of anything. And I feel like for a life coach, that's what you're doing with people as you're asking them questions to help them get to the fundamental core or deep values within them that will be like, I want to do this because not just because I want to look good or not, which is great, of course, don't get me wrong, or not because I want to be like so and so, but you're doing it. And as you're saying, like forgiveness for yourself, isn't it? Is more, they're saying unforgiveness is drinking alcohol, poison, and expecting your neighbor to die. It doesn't work like that,
Yes,
isn't
yes,
it? So
yes.
it's kind of, yeah. Do you want to comment
Yeah.
something on that?
Yeah, I would say like you mentioned fitness.
Mm,
Many people and my tagline in Abby's coaching house is transforming lives one
mm,
life at a time.
mm,
And so we want to see people transformed, getting to where they desire to be. So let's say a client comes to me and they are stuck in overweight. They are overweight and they are stuck.
mm,
The way we are programmed, something I actually learned recently is that, our forefathers used to struggle, like scavenge for food. And so
absolutely.
they struggled and they didn't know where food would come from tomorrow.
Mm,
So they had this mindset that told them, I have to eat enough today for me to store up enough for tomorrow.
absolutely.
Unfortunately, it seems like that mindset is hereditary. You
Mm,
know, when we get, say, sausages, we want to eat them as if there is no tomorrow.
yeah.
When we get, chicken, we want to eat it as if there is no tomorrow.
Mm,
But then in coaching, then we come in and ask, so when you're overeating or when you're choosing this kind of food, what does it do for you?
mm,
And then, we have begun by first seeing where do you want to go?
mm,
What's your vision? And so every day it will be a journey of asking ourselves, so is what you're doing in line with your vision?
mm.
Is what you're doing in line with what you think is your purpose? So
Yeah.
once you get to know that, then you understand that, for example, as you said, the body, if somebody doesn't know the purpose of the body, they will abuse it.
Mm,
But once you know that your body is a serious resource, you need your body every day for you to achieve what you need, then you begin to think, I need to take care of my body.
yeah.
So coaching triggers you to get there and to actually take the bold steps. For example, people sign up for gym membership, but then how many go for the gym sessions?
Yeah.
Very few. People even pay for a year's gym membership fee, and then
Mm-hmm.
they'll only go for 1 month, and not go at all. Because the issue is that but the mindset is not agreeing with it. The mind is rejecting this. So
Yeah.
until it is worked on, then
Yeah.
it might be very difficult or even hopeless to get to where they want to be.
Yeah. Which brings me to another question, Nabi, because you've just been explaining the importance or the significance of life coaching. And I was wondering, nowadays on YouTube, where we are at the moment, isn't it? There's so many motivational videos that people can basically watch whoever from, it might be their idol in quotes, or an influencer, or name it. And these people can actually give them motivation, and motivational talk hopefully can spur them into something, into healthy lifestyles, into healthy goals. Why do they still need to go back, even though you've talked about all these advantages, and not just watch a motivational video at the end of the day?
I love that question because it really touches on what I tried to do for long. Because as I struggled with, part of my story that I haven't said is one of the things I struggled with for so long was a very low self-esteem. And maybe even right those days in campus, you may never have noticed because I did my best to cover it,
Wow.
but then it was there. The fear and my self-esteem. And where did it come from? I came to understand through coaching that when I was a young girl, there was this teacher, and that's why I tell teachers and parents what you say to your children is very important. It plays a role. So there was this time where, as class 2, maybe in other places they call it grade 2, we were going for music festivals. And so I went to practice, and this teacher came, pulled me out of the line, and said, Abby, you can never ever sing.
Wow.
And that crushed me. That really crushed me. So it had a real effect on my life. So everything, I think I didn't even hear, as a child, I didn't hear you can never sing. I had something beyond. I had you can never do anything. That's what I had, you know. Our minds are built in that young age.
Yeah.
The science of the brain says from age 0 to 7, our programming, that's where our programming happens. A
Yeah.
millionaire is programmed at that age. A failure is programmed at that age. Anything you want to program your child to is really done at that point. So anything here in life at that age is very important. So for me, it worked against me. And so I grew up with these low self-esteem. So I come to work, low self-esteem. I get into marriage, low self-esteem. And so anything my spouse does is interpreted to mean you can't do this, just from the little voice in my mind. And I tried YouTube and motivation, and I would listen to it, and it would work for maybe 3 days a week. And then I would go back into self-talk, the negative self-talk.
Yeah.
And I would convince myself they're just saying that because they don't know what I'm going through. They're not going through what I'm going through. So they do not understand. That's what they are saying. So it's a good place to start. Motivation is a good place to start. It stirs you into action.
Yeah.
But then coaching comes in to help you to develop.
Oh, I think Abby has left, but yeah, there she's
Sorry,
back. She's back. Yeah,
sorry.
that's okay. Yeah,
I don't know. It's internet issues, I think.
that's
So I
okay.
was saying motivation is a good place to start, but it's just the starting point. But then coaching in to help you to develop the plan, to develop the strategy. For example, could we really develop a footballer from any motivational speech?
Yeah.
I think the footballer needs a coach who says, wake up, go to the field at 5 a.m., run 7 laps, do some quotes and all that. And that's what will help them to become the great footballers. But then the
Absolutely.
motivation will get them into the field, into action. So I would say that's the difference. That's motivation is important, but it's like the trigger. Then
Yeah.
coaching is the plan that gets you into action.
Yeah, like as you're talking about that, I was just thinking of if my car got stuck and I have to jump start it, it doesn't mean that I've sorted out the battery. I need to go back into sorting it out, isn't it? So it's kind of, I can get a jump start into it, but then I need to be in action in order for me to be able to do it in the longer term. And for me, I find it like I usually call it like a friend or an accountability partner. Like I usually think about when I talk about my journey, for example, into weight loss and how I came into even having this whole YouTube channel and things like that. I've I've been thinking about the days and the times where I've struggled with something, but because I've got somebody I'm doing it who I'm journeying with, that kind of in a way gives me that accountability. So I'm always like, oh my gosh, I don't want to let them down, so I want to do that. And I feel like, well, of course, the life coach is not a policeman or policewoman to police your actions. I think that's
Yes,
what I'm
yes,
thinking
yes,
about.
yes.
But it's kind of in
Mhm,
a way
mhm,
when I'm coming back to you and saying, Abby, you gave me an assignment to work on this and then I haven't
mhm.
done it, I'll be feeling a bit embarrassed. And I don't
Yes.
want to do it 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 times. Then if I just go to a
Mhm,
motivational video on YouTube and maybe I'll click like or share with myself, and there will be
mhm.
nobody to account to. That person who
Yes.
made that video will not be there to say, well done, Claire, you listened to me. But if I'm coming back to you, Abby, you'll be able to say, Claire, what are you up to? What are you doing? And just maybe even just asking, how are you, can trigger something
Mhm.
that will help you to talk about some more things. Or is there anything else you wanted to add on that, Abby?
Maybe I would say, as a life coach, we celebrate your small wins
Mm,
because personally, I go with the tagline that we work on progress over
mm,
perfection.
mm,
That sometimes people want perfection and that's why they give up. For example, you go on YouTube, like I really love, I know you are a runner and you do 10, 14 kilometers. Who I've never done that. I think the most I've done is 5.
well done. It's still
Maybe I should
something.
upgrade.
Yeah, there's
But
still
then
grace.
um, when I go to YouTube and then I look at, for example, how to lose mommy tummy,
Mm,
something I have been working on for long, I see 7 days, 7 days of losing mommy tummy.
mm,
And then I go in there with a lot of energy and I want to lose my mommy tummy. And after 7 days, nothing. I take
mm,
my tape measure and the measurements are the same.
yeah,
So I get discouraged. But then as a coach, I will celebrate your small wins. Win
mm,
one if you got into action, just
yeah,
getting into action. Like, for example, sometimes you'll get somebody who has never gone to the gym and struggles to go to the gym. So you tell
mm,
them, on day one, I just want you to put on your gym clothes and just remove them. Just put on let them stay on your body for 5 minutes
yeah,
and just go ahead and remove the clothes.
yeah,
And then day two, put on the clothes, get to your door, and come back.
mm,
And day three, put on the clothes, go to the car or walk outside the gate and come
mm,
back. Day four, walk to the gym, just get inside people and come back.
yeah,
So the more you do that, your mind begins to take in this. And let me first say that your mind works against change.
Yeah.
You want to do something new, your mind will not accept it, because your mind works, it has a set norm of how we do things, how I
Mm.
Abby. And
Mm.
so once I introduce something new, my mind says, no, 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 no,
Yeah.
that is working against you. So
Mm.
once you do that, it triggers you to just get into action. So as a coach, I will celebrate and tell you, so did you get to the gym and come back? Yes, and clap for you. So with time, you will start thinking, so what I'm doing is foolish. Why
Yeah.
can't I just get into the gym and work
Absolutely.
out? And 1 month down the line, you are telling a different story. And then
Mm.
transformation of your body begins from right there.
Mm.
So I
Mm.
would say it comes with celebrating the small wins until we get to the big win itself.
Absolutely. And that's one of the things that I'm also very keen at, because I believe in strongly taking account of every single progress, taking account
Mhm,
of, let's say, every single blessing, if you want to, if you so to say, so that at the end of the day, you can be like, oh, I'm not blessed. My life is this. I'm not losing weight. I'm not making any progress. But the moment you start to look at it little by little, you realize you're
mhm,
starting to gain ground, isn't it? And like for nutritionists, we usually suggest, and you don't lose more than 500 grams a week, because you can do those drastic measures, but
mhm,
maintaining them becomes more difficult. Whereas they say slow but sure does actually win the rest. So you kind of, in a way, slowly by slowly, and that's why you definitely need that life coach, somebody that will be celebrating you as you move on,
mhm.
encouraging you to celebrate those small wins, those needle moving actions into your prosperity of your health, of your
Yeah.
wealth, and things like that, rather than wanting these mountaintop victories. So you won't be able to know how to deal with them if you've not really learned little by little how to deal with those small victories, the valley moments, and being able to conquer, so that when you get to
Mhm.
those mountaintops, you won't really forget those
Yes.
valley moments. And that's quite
Mhm,
really
mhm.
interesting. And for those who are joining, I can see people dipping in and out. I just said at the beginning, if you have any questions for Abby, drop them in the chat. If you've come and you've not let us know where you're watching us from, again, drop it in the chat. We'll love to know where you're watching and catching up with us from. And Abby has just been talking to us about his story, and I'm going to be asking another question. Sorry, I'm asking too many questions today, but it's just
I,
because
I,
you
I
are
normally
such a
ask,
delight.
I normally do the asking, so let me be on the receiving end today.
Absolutely, yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. So I'm going to be using, I mean, not
Yes.
using that, but kind of getting the most out of this session, because, again, this is something that for those who are watching, or maybe will be rewatching, something we're just going back into, because, again, I'll talk about how they can be able to get in touch with you if they want to contact you, and how they can be able to get a life coach, because that could be something, again, you can be able to talk about it because you have done it yourself, and you are
Mhm.
doing it by yourself as well at this moment. So just
Yeah.
wondering, what are some of the areas where somebody will actually need life coaching?
Um, Before I go into that, let me say what you mentioned about health is very important. I'm sure people who are following us, we really love to know that, because sometimes people go into exercising and they
Mm,
overdo. Like I remember when I would get into exercising and then I would want to, lose so much weight and run for so long. And then I would feel so much pain, and tomorrow I would not have the energy. So,
mm,
what you mentioned is very important. Thank you for highlighting that.
you're welcome.
So, there are many areas into which life coach will help a person, an individual in.
Mm,
Those would be career, those would be business, health and fitness.
yeah.
There are coaches who do spiritual coaching. There are coaches who do just helping somebody get to their potential. So personally, I offer programs in unleashing your full potential. This is
Mm,
the program in which we look at where you are, and then where are you supposed to be at, or where do you see yourself to be
mm,
at,
mm,
and how can you get there? So that's one area we look at.
Mm.
And then we look at an area in forgiveness. I'm passionate about forgiveness, maybe because it really worked for me
Yeah.
as a person. I have mentioned in my story that forgiveness was taking away my health and
Mm.
my peace. And so I want to see somebody else gain from the same. Then we look at how you would be empowered as a person.
Mhm.
How would you get unstuck from where you are stuck as a person? I am also passionate on working with high schoolers
Mm.
and college-going students because some of them are stuck, maybe because of lowest self-esteem issues, like I mentioned. Some of them maybe just because they don't believe in themselves, and
Mm.
so they never get to the grades that they are supposed to get to, not because they're not designed for that, but just because they never believe in themselves. I was talking to somebody who was telling me this morning that me, I can never get that kind of money. Where would I
Mm.
get that kind of money? And I was like, ooh, who told you that? Who
Yeah.
told you? So did people come on earth with a blueprint of money and others of poverty? I don't think so.
Mm.
So it's all about mindset shift. Most of the things would be about mindset shift, just
Yeah.
getting you from a defeated mindset to a conqueror's mindset, a mindset which sees you achieving every possibility that is possible for you to
Mm.
achieve on your life on earth. Just before we came online, I saw something that actually goes in line with coaching, and it was saying that many people die at 25, but they are buried at 75.
That's a good one.
And I
Yeah.
thought, "Hmm, what does that mean?" It took me around a minute to get the
Yeah.
message.
Yeah.
And somebody had actually put it on her WhatsApp status, and I was like,
Mm.
okay. So I thought to myself, if and I'll actually go back to the status or ask her to inbox me, because I think I should use that to trigger people into action,
Yeah.
because there are people who will never get into action until they are very old, yet
Mm.
they have done it before.
Yeah.
So as a coach, we trigger you into just taking action and moving into the direction of your calling, your vision, and what you want to do on earth.
Amazing. And I would imagine all that will end up resulting in really quality life, isn't it? Because
Yes, yes,
if you
yes.
shift all these mindset, you shift all like
Mhm,
you start
mhm.
living rather than dying by by
Yes.
25.
By
There will be
the
something, yeah.
and it's so sad because if you die at 25, for example, and then get married, for example, at 27, so really somebody is
Mm,
getting into trouble, or two people who are already dead in their
yeah,
minds are
yeah.
coming together. And so all the fights, all the wars, uh, so coaching gets you to live a better quality life,
Mm,
a happy life. Uh, I forgot to mention one of my programs too. I call it Marriage Ablaze,
mm,
because most of the time people get into marriages and they don't even know what they are going for.
yeah.
And most of them, they go into marriage to receive or to be completed by the other person. They say, oh, this person completes me. And when I came to learn that that statement is actually not true, I really was sorry for myself, but then I thank God I had learned it, because no one really completes you.
Mm,
They need to come and find a complete self
yeah,
and
yeah,
then complement your completeness. If you're not complete, no one else can actually complete you.
yeah.
So then most people are married to good people, but then they keep thinking they're married to the worst. At some point in my life, that was me thinking,
Mm,
how did I get myself into this?
mm,
Only to realize I was actually the one who needed to work on myself. And when I
yeah.
did work on myself,
Yeah.
I could say the quality of life I am living now is far much better. I wish I knew that earlier because
Mm.
then, so if somebody would come and learn early, then they would enjoy a better quality life than if
Yeah.
they would learn it too late in life.
Yeah. And what do you think, Abby, will be some of the things that are holding people back from reaching out and trying to find therapy, not therapy, life coaching earlier on? Because they will be dead at 25 and still carrying on until 70, 50. Why are people struggling to find help if it's available?
Uh, don't say so much about the dead at 25, you'll scare people.
Yes, I'll stop.
No, just a moment, sorry. Um, I would say, like for me, um, one would be fear,
Mm,
fear that, sometimes we know what we really want, but we are even afraid to walk into it.
mm,
The other one would be we are conditioned not to ask for help. We feel like asking for help is a weakness.
mm,
And this is especially for the male gender. The male
yeah.
gender will die with their problems and not ask for help at all.
Mm,
And then maybe they go to the graves earlier or not reach their potential because they don't want to reach out for help. But
mm,
even the female gender, at times, we are conditioned to want to fight. Say now, like in marriage,
mm,
people cover each other, people cover their problems. Well, it's
mm,
okay to cover it if you're not talking to a professional, because then if you talk to anyone else, it would be pity parting, and
yeah.
pity parting does not.
Mm,
But then if you could reach out to a professional, then that
mm,
would really help. And then the other thing is that most of us are not really conditioned to know that taking care of ourselves is a very important thing. This morning, I was listening. I'm doing a challenge. Maybe you've seen my post.
yeah. Yeah,
I'm doing a
absolutely.
challenge where and we've been given assignments to follow these successful people in life
Mm,
and just to know about their lives. And so this morning, I was listening to the story of is it Henry Ford, the one who designed this vehicle? The
Ford. Ford.
no, actually, it's not Henry Ford. It's Henry Royce, something like that. The one who did Rolls Royce.
Mm,
And and they are saying that in his history, he at times he didn't eat well, and so he had sickness problems. And from the story I learned, if I don't take care of myself, I
mm,
am my number one resource. I have to
yeah.
take care of myself for me to be able to take care of anyone else. So
Mm,
many people are working. As a mother, I would work so hard to take care of my children, but because I don't love myself enough, then I don't get to the point where I can actually love them enough. I
mm,
cannot love my spouse enough, my brother, my neighbor, my
mm,
workmate, if I do not love myself enough.
yeah.
So many people get stuck
Yeah.
in that because they feel they could do it their way, and then they don't know that they should really seek for help, and then they keep going down the drain. But
Mm,
thank God for where we are now in life that there is help, because
yeah.
I think years back, maybe life coaching was not a very, famous thing, but now most people are coming to the knowledge of it.
Yeah. So how can people who are stuck in this cycle, so to say, how can they get help to come out of it? What do you think are some of the strategies that people can actually use to be able to untangle themselves from this kind of entanglement?
I would say the first place it begins from is self awareness.
Mm,
Do you even know that you have a problem? Most people don't even know they're in a problem. Most people think, if, I look at life and think I'm doing better than Claire, so
mm,
I'm okay. You know, their gauge is their neighbor, their gauge is their workmate,
mm,
their gauge is their brother or someone else. So they keep thinking that if I'm doing better than so and so, then I'm okay. But really, that's a wrong gauge to measure yourself with. You need to have a gauge that measures yourself against yourself.
Yeah.
Measures your desired place against where you are now.
Yeah.
So once you're self-aware and realize I am stuck here, I have a problem and I need help,
Yeah.
then that's the very first place. And the second place would be to get to love yourself enough to want to invest in yourself.
Yeah.
Because if you don't love yourself, then you will never see the need of doing something, whether it was free of charge or paid,
Yeah.
because like I said, I was in this group where coaches were actually giving free information and I would never read. Because I would feel like whatever they are saying, it does not work for me.
Yeah.
It's not, I'm not in the game. And so until I got to the place where I was aware I had a problem, I put a name on the problem. I named the problem. Then now I began to seek help, even through the journey to YouTube, looking for people. And I remember one thing, what actually triggered me into action was one YouTube video by a preacher known as Christine Kane.
I love her.
And yeah, and she came on and said, she gave the story of this man, the man that was stuck at the well for, was it 38 years?
Yeah. Yeah.
And then Jesus comes to the man and asks, do you want to be well? And the man begins stories and stories and stories. And so Christine said, most of you are like that. And she asked the question, do you want to be well? Because some of us are like the beggar at the well,
Yeah.
who maybe receives some coins or some notes, and so they identify themselves with that. So maybe by being at the point where we are, we feel we attract some sympathy, we attract some mercy, we attract, whatever we feel we attract.
Yeah.
But then at the end of the day, does it really serve to make us into the best version that we were meant to be? Because every day is a strive for me, is a strive to live and become a better version than I was yesterday. So every day I wake up with that mission. What did
Yeah.
I do yesterday? What can
Yeah.
I do better today? So unless we get into that path where we are first aware, where we give a name tag to our problem, and then now we begin to think, how can I get help? Do I need a therapist? Do I need
Yeah.
a life coach?
Yeah.
How can I do this? And then most of us want to go expensive on anything else, but not on ourselves. So
Absolutely.
for me, the game changer was when I decided that I am going to invest in me. And as I have continued watching many successful people, they have said the moment I turned and began to invest in me, things changed. So for
Absolutely.
me, I would say invest in yourself, love yourself, put yourself first, and then the other things will begin to fall into place.
Yeah, I always say to myself every day, I tell myself I'm good soil. I can grow
Mhm.
something nice can grow in me, and
Yes.
strongly believe that I can actually be able to be the best version, as you're saying, the best version of me, the best mother, the best wife, the best educator, the best anything. Because at the
Mhm.
moment, I feel like I've always been thinking about this, saying, everybody in life is busy doing life. So if you're
Yes,
waiting
yes.
for those people to come to start to celebrate you, to come to start to tell you to do this or the other, or you're waiting for them to come and tell you, Abby, you can do this. Everybody's busy with their own life, and it's not a bad thing.
Mhm.
So you
Mhm.
have to
Mhm.
realize I have to work on me, as you're saying throughout these talk we've been talking about. Realizing it's not about your spouse changing, it's about you
Mhm.
changing, and then
Yeah.
they have no option but to change to catch up with the change in you. If I go
Mhm.
running, that's the thing I say to myself every time I go out for a run, and sometimes I'm dragging myself out of bed. I'm like,
Mhm.
I'm doing this for me. I'm doing this for my children's children. When I'm 70, when I'm physically that age, I'll look back
Mhm.
to these days because it's kind of an investment that I'm
Yes.
investing in myself. And that's something that I really love out of what you've just been saying, that is kind of remembering you first of all had to be whole, you have to be you have to be fully functional before you can be able
Mhm.
to allow other people to join your space as well, which is something
Mhm.
really important. And just as
Yeah.
we come towards now landing this talk towards an end, I just
Mhm.
wanted to go back into forgiveness, because somebody will ask me, this channel is about nutrition, food, and health. Why are you talking about life coaching? I mean, you've heard from Abby, you can do health coaching as well, which is part of life coaching. And somebody could tell me, like, why do you post about motivation or about encouragement? Because I believe if you start with the mind, if the mind is healed, I usually say a whole heart, you start with cleaning the heart will clean the mind will clean the body. It's not the other way around. And Abby, you talk a lot about forgiveness, and you've talked about your journey with forgiveness and things like that. Maybe just to help somebody who's watching today and probably they are struggling with forgiveness or things like that, because you talk about it a lot. You have been through a program and you run a program on forgiveness. Maybe just talk to us a little bit about why do you think this is important?
Let me begin by saying to the person who will wonder why would you post things to do with life coaching on your channel. Um, as a nutritionist, I believe you will tell people eat the right food,
Mm,
uh, eat the right portions,
mm,
but remember, until the mindset is shifted from the ancestral mindset where we want to eat everything now,
yeah.
then it would be very hard to achieve that. So
Mm,
it works together that as a coach, I will tell somebody to take care of your health. Self-love is important.
mm,
And one of the areas of self-love is actually your diet, is actually your body.
yeah.
And so I think it really works together.
Mm,
And so back to your question on forgiveness. I would say for me, that was the starting point of my transformational journey,
mm,
where I think for the longest time in my life, I never knew I held grudges. I actually used to tell myself I am a saint. I never hold grudges. But all I did for the longest time was take errors and mistakes from people, brush them under the carpet, cover them there,
mm,
take another, cover them there. And then I think at some point in life, they all like began coming back to me. It was like, the way a cow, a ruminant,
mm,
brings back, regurgitates the food. So it started coming back to me and haunting me. And, some things happened that were now bigger, I say that in quotes, than what I thought I could handle.
mm,
And so I realized that when I needed healing, actually, I went and told my coach, I need healing, but I don't want to forgive. I've come here for healing. I don't want to forgive. And so it took about 3 sessions for me to get the point of
mm,
why I should actually forgive. I
yeah.
thought, no, it's my right to feel what I'm feeling.
Mm,
It's my right to hold my anger and my grudge. And so it took me a long time to hold that. But then what was it doing to me? My health had issues. I have
mm,
talked of time I had terrible acne on my face. You can't imagine.
wow.
And then I had sores on my feet. I could not wear shoes properly. And
Wow.
it was so bad. And I couldn't tell where they're coming from. I didn't go to see the doctor because I didn't even know how to explain. So I tried antiseptics and all that.
Mm,
But then at the point where I got it and went and my coach, finally, I think I've gotten to the point where this sinks into my mind and my
Mm.
heart.
Mm.
And around a month or so later, I just realized that all those things disappeared.
Wow.
And so I think the chemicals that were being released from my mind into the body and the
Mm.
stress hormones that were being released were just working against me. And
Mm.
so I know many people are stuck in unforgiveness and it poisons them. Forgiveness, as you said, is taking poison, expecting that your offender will
Yeah.
die.
Mm.
But then when I got to the point and realized that my offender is actually my fuel into my destiny, I,
Mm.
my mindset
Yeah.
shifted and I began to see it like that. Then I got
Mm.
to the point where I could love and cherish those moments that I had to go through some issues in life that to me were, the unforgivable sin.
Mm.
So I tell everybody if you can let go, because most of us go through issues that we find hard to forgive. If you can forgive and let go, then the
Mm.
quality of life, your quality of life changes, and you get into a place where you enjoy a happier
Yeah.
life. Because you can imagine if you have not forgiven things in your present or your past, then you carry them into your future.
Mm.
And when you carry them into your future, I have heard of, I can't remember his name, a celebrity who says he made so many movies, but they never sold until the day he called his father and said, I forgive you.
Wow.
I know many people would know him. The name has just slipped off my mind, but forgiveness to me is key in
Mm.
living a quality life.
Yeah. And somebody was actually saying forgiveness is to let an offender or a prisoner go free and then realize it's actually you who's been let free, isn't
Mhm.
it? Because
Yes,
it kind of
yes.
takes so much weight to hold on to
Mhm,
stuff. I feel like when you're holding on to those bitterness, anger, resentment, and things like that, it's
mhm,
kind of they're eating you deep within. And sometimes we hold unforgiveness for people that don't even know them, they've moved on with their
mhm,
lives, and you're holding
mhm.
on saying that so and so did this to me in this year, I will never forgive, and then they've moved on. And as you're saying,
Yeah.
sometimes it can actually even start resulting or manifesting itself in many different things, like affecting our
Mhm.
health. Some people
Yeah.
can even find it. I've heard of stories of people that have actually had cancer, and then when they went, maybe like say to pray about it or things like that, they were told go back and forgive, and after forgiving, literally they got a clean slate of life. And I think I
Mhm.
100% agree with you that forgiveness is one of those things that can actually help people to unleash their potential. And I read a
Yeah.
book by Edith Eger. She's a lady that survived. She was a Jewish lady that survived all these stuff that was going on in Germany during the time when they were fighting, and all this Hitler stuff. And she was saying sometimes we there is a difference between being a victim and victimhood. You can be a victim when you have, for
Mhm,
example, a partner or spouse who cheats on you, or you
mhm,
get dismissed from work over something, you never made a mistake, or you're never on the
mhm,
wrong,
mhm.
or they somebody does something that actually leaves you devastated. But when you hold on to those things, you become you go into victimhood, and you get lost in that rant, in that vicious cycle. And as you're saying, until you get to a point of deciding you have to let go, you have to forgive and move on, that can actually be liberating in things like weight loss and things like diet, even related diseases. Because some people, I feel like saying this, I don't know what has triggered something that you say that has actually made me think about this. There might be somebody that is watching this now, or maybe watching it in the replay, that even their journey will be starting by forgiving themselves, because the way you
Mhm,
treat
mhm,
yourself, the
mhm,
way you
mhm.
don't look after yourself, the way
Yeah.
you kind of in a way feel because maybe I was abused, I was told I don't deserve, I'm not good
Mhm,
enough. And those things have actually resulted into wounds internally against yourself, and you're holding yourself in prison, and you're trying maybe to live a healthy life, to go into weight loss, so you're holding on to weight that you're thinking that how can I ever get rid of this? And it's maybe because of that unforgiveness against yourself,
mhm.
and that's something that, do you want to talk a little bit about it, Abby?
Yeah, it's a very important part of forgiveness, because sometimes the person we are not forgiving is actually ourselves.
Mm,
We beat ourselves so hard. For example, basic things like you went to high school and you didn't get a good grade,
mm,
and so you feel like your life is tagged to that.
yeah,
Maybe are you got a child out of wedlock, and to you that's the unforgivable sin that you'll never forgive yourself for.
mm,
And anything else that you have done, or done against somebody, or done against yourself, and you
mm,
find it hard to let go. It's really important to forgive yourself, because
yeah,
as I began by saying, you are your number one resource.
yeah,
Unless you are in the best shape, it's very hard to reach out to others,
yeah,
whether it's at your workplace, whether you are a mom, a father, whichever place you are stationed to do what you're doing.
mm,
Unless you're in the best shape mentally and even
mm,
in your heart, it will be so hard, and our minds will want to beat us.
yeah,
And let me tell you, the funny thing about our minds is that our minds love to focus on
yeah,
the negative things that happen in life.
yeah,
So, for example, you could be living with a spouse who has offended you in one area, and that alone takes your attention from
mm,
everything else, everything positive about this
mm,
person,
mm,
or a parent, or a child, anyone. So, but when you, like in my journey, I had to learn journaling, just
yeah,
to write things I love, things I'm
mm,
grateful for.
mm,
And those really helped me to appreciate the good things in my life, even as
yeah,
you as a person. I remember one of the exercises we were given was to stand before the mirror every morning and tell yourself beautiful words like, I love you, Abby. You're
mm,
such an important person.
wow,
You are an amazing woman. And at first, I wondered, oh my goodness, these coaches, sometimes their minds don't work properly, until it began to work on me.
mm,
And I remember the journeying of forgiveness, not forgiveness, gratitude was not easy. Every morning
yeah,
I had to journal, and actually tell my coach that I journaled, because anyway, she was not interested in seeing what I had written.
yeah,
But I also knew I could not cheat. Otherwise, I would actually be cheating myself, not her.
absolutely, mm-hmm,
But there are moments I would pick my pen and write three and have nothing to write.
mm,
Until one day she opened my eyes to just say, let's be grateful for your body,
yeah,
your eyes that can see, your ears that can hear, your hands,
mm,
your legs, you can breathe freely.
yeah,
Just the other day there was COVID, and we realized oxygen can be worth
absolutely,
millions.
mm,
So she took me through a journey that I learned to appreciate things that I have in life,
yeah,
and to focus on them, so that I don't get too focused on what I don't have.
mm,
So when we get into this journey, learn to love ourselves, forgive ourselves, because you realize that sometimes it's very easy to forgive another person
yeah,
more than yourself or
yeah,
your spouse. For example, if I came to you and told you that, Claire, my son has done this and this and this,
mm,
you would be like, Abby, kids normally trip and they make mistakes.
Yeah.
But sometimes, if it's your own son, you begin to beat yourself and
Mm,
say, I did not parent properly. Where did I
mm,
fail? And
mm.
sometimes it kills people.
Yeah.
So, finding that path on the journey of forgiveness, both to self and others, it's very important.
Wow, Abby, so that
Yeah.
we don't end up taking too much time. I know you already said at the beginning you are busy, 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 busy lady. And I don't want to take this to 2 hours of your time, which is amazing to have you today here. And there's so
Thank
much
you.
that you've talked about, which I mean, I'm going to rewatch this over and over again. It's going to be on replay because there are
Thank you.
nuggets of truth that I really want them to sink into me, waking up in the
Mhm.
morning, going into my mirror and speaking to myself and loving on myself a little bit
Mhm.
more. So as we bring this to a landing, I know, as I said in at the beginning, for those people just joining or I've seen people joining and leaving, if you have any questions, so we'll spend just maybe another 2-3 minutes checking. I'm just checking if there are any questions there. We'll spend maybe 2 or 3 minutes just checking. You can feel free as well, Abby, to just scroll through the questions if there is anything that somebody has asked that we can you can answer because it's you who's doing this today. If there is
Mhm.
anything that you can answer, but as we're looking through that and maybe thinking of anything that somebody wants to ask, Abby, how can people contact you? How can they find you? You've talked about a YouTube channel. What is your handle? Where are you on social media? If anybody wants to follow you.
Well, thanks for asking. I'm on YouTube. My handle is Abby's Coaching House.
Yeah, I'm gonna
The
note that.
Abby's Coaching House on YouTube has the apostrophe on it. But then on TikTok at
Mm-hmm.
Coach Blessed Abby, on Instagram at Coach Blessed Abby,
Yeah.
on Facebook I have both my Facebook page, which is Abby's Coaching House, and then
Mm-hmm.
uh, the normal Facebook, which is Blessed Abby.
Mm.
So I go by the name Coach Blessed Abby or Abby's Coaching House.
I'm just
And
gonna
then
try. Sorry, Abby, for interfering. I'm just gonna try
mhm,
to switch back my phone on so that I can try to tag some of those some of the handles and the messages. So if anybody wants to kind of quickly check them out, that would be great. So continue. Sorry about that.
okay. And then my email address for Abby's Coaching House is Abby's Coaching House. Abby's does not have an apostrophe in the email. Abby's Coaching House at gmail.com.
Yeah.
And then the phone number, the business phone number, the WhatsApp business. If you want to reach me on WhatsApp, it would be 07, just a moment. I think I don't have it in my head straight away, but it's 0781
I need to type
284.
that. I need to type that in a minute. Let me
Just a moment.
see.
I need to be sure I'm saying the right thing because I don't know that number hasn't stuck in my head.
Yeah.
Just a moment. Let me be sure I'm saying the right thing.
So I'm just trying to type that into the chat. I think it's at Abby's Coaching House.
Coaching house at gmail.com.
So it's Abby's, sorry, 1 minute. Abby's Coaching. Does it have an apostrophe for your email?
No, no, no. It doesn't
Okay.
have. Yeah.
Abby's Coaching House at Gmail. Please don't spam her with messages she'll be like, what was this? Please do send messages if you really want to reach out to her because
Mm-hmm.
I know she's gonna be doing that. She'll be more than eager to do that. So that's your email. I got it, and then I need to get at at Abby's Coaching House.
Yeah, that's the YouTube handle.
Yeah, coaching house. Please subscribe to her, follow her, like her comments, tag her.
Thank you.
That would be
Thank
really
you.
amazing. Share her
Thank you.
videos, support her. Let's grow this channel together. And then TikTok was
It's at Coach Blessed Abby.
TikTok at Coach Blessed Abby. Yeah, and then you talked about Facebook.
Facebook, you can do Abby's Coaching House.
Abby's Coaching House. And then you
That
said
is
you're on
the,
Instagram as well.
yeah, Instagram shares
Shares with
with
the.
with TikTok. It's at Coach Blessed Abby.
Okay. At Coach Blessed Abby. And of course, Abby and myself are working on some stuff. We are planning to do a webinar very soon. I haven't seen any questions, but if there's any questions that come over later, we'll definitely just go in and I'll direct them to you. Abby and myself are working on a webinar. We will be posting details for you guys very soon, and we'll be much more than happy if you guys can come over and support what we are doing and support your girl Abby as well. For those who are regular, you're welcome. Regular viewers, followers on NutriFeed and Health, if I can remember the handle of my channel. On Friday, I've got this delight to host a dear friend and colleague of mine. She's an assistant professor in food science and nutrition. So she's called Dr. Nyambayo. I think she's somewhere. Yeah, thank you so much. I think I've seen, well, Abby, your hubby's online. And I sent a
Hi.
message for you. That's amazing. It's good to be supported
Wow.
by your hubbies, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's
Thank
great.
you. He's a
Evans,
great
good to see
supporting
you.
this actually.
Yeah, as I said, Abby and myself go really far away from really, really college years, long time ago. So I know Abby's happy quite well as well. So it's not just, that's why I'm a bit getting excited at this point. As I was saying, I've got assistant professor, Dr. Isabella Nyambayo. She is, oh yeah, we haven't shared the number, Abby. We need to do the number as well. She is an assistant professor in food science and nutrition. I need to get that well. It's a kind of a mouthful. She will be coming on Friday and talking a little bit again of her story, just the same way Abby has been talking about life coaching, but this will be a story about nutrition. So if you're interested in finding out a little bit more about, if you want to do, let's say, life coaching, but more from a health point of view, going into talking to people about their life, their diet, and what they eat and things like that, it would be nice for you to come and hang out with us on Friday and listen to Isabella, who is at the moment, she lectures at a university here in England, and it will be much more than nice for us to come over and have a chat with her. I haven't seen any questions at the moment, so it's time that I think I'll bring this to an end. If you can join me in thanking Abby, if you kind of just can, I think YouTube allows me, you can put like love reactions, clapping reactions, whatever emojis that you are good at doing that. If you could join me in the chat and just thanking my girl Abby, celebrating what she's doing, and please let us celebrate her and also support her, because this is something amazing that she's doing, and I believe this is a journey that it will be helpful for all of us. I want to take this opportunity as well to thank each and every one of you who's logged in today, who's dipped in and dipped out. Thank you so much for coming over. Thank you so much. Aggie, I've seen you. It's amazing to see you.
Yeah.
Agnes Bailey, that's another one that we were together in uni. And it's really nice to see you, Aggie. I celebrate you so much, and I'm so glad to see you today online. we will be doing more of these things together. So if you want again to follow us and see this journey, it will be really, really amazing. Thank you so much. As I said, it's a great delight, you guys. I don't know what you're doing. I don't want to start talking about weather, because in the UK right now it's raining. So I'm gonna try to find something interesting to do that is not in
We
just.
agreed we are not going to talk about the weather today.
I've forgotten your word phantasmagorical, Abby. How could you?
I was supposed to use that word today, actually. I had to go to, Google and
Yeah,
Google what that word. Hi, I can't even pronounce it.
I
Is that
know.
English, really?
Well, I don't know if it's English or not, but that's from my little boy, so I just stole it
It's
because I
actually
need it.
there. It's actually there on Google. We haven't
Yeah.
shared the phone
Phone
number,
number,
so
yes, I
don't
need to
forget
do
that.
that. So your number is gonna be, I'm gonna put with the +254, because just in case
Yes.
somebody who's not in Kenya wants to
Yeah.
contact you. So it's
Mm-hmm.
+254, yeah,
781
781
248
248
284.
284. Yeah, plus
Yeah.
254 seven
Mm-hmm.
eight 124
Mm-hmm.
8284.
84. Yes.
Perfect. Lovely. Thank you so much, everyone. And Abby and myself will bring this to a close by watch this space. We will be coming back soon with another session. Abby, do you want to say a parting short words before I let you go?
Yeah, let me first thank you for having me on your channel. I
It's been a pleasure.
really appreciate and I'm grateful. And I also enjoy working with you. You are such a pleasant person to work with. And let me tell our viewers that none of us was put on earth to live, below their potential. We all can live to our potential. Somebody is asking whether this is WhatsApp. Yes,
Yeah, you can.
it's WhatsApp business. So if you get write on it, type a message, it will come to the WhatsApp business line. It is also reachable on call. So, but I like to use it on WhatsApp. So, yeah, I was saying we all have a bright destiny. We all have a bright future. So let's not condemn ourselves to living beyond our potential. As like Abby's coaching house tagline says, become a better version of you. You'll see in my logo a light. It just means you can, become the light that you are meant to be. So I
Yeah.
really appreciate those who are following now live and those who will follow later. As my sister Claire says, watch this space, so much coming as we purpose to do that which we were put on earth to do before so that we don't die at 25 and wait for burial at 75. That's a very sad
Absolutely.
reality. Yes. So thank you so much. I really, really appreciate.
It's been a pleasure. It's been so
Thank
much
you.
pleasure. And again, watch this space, because Abby and myself are cooking some stuff. As I said, I
Mhm.
really find that we complement each other so well from uni years until now. So, guys, it's been so much pleasure. Thank you once again. I hope you all have a good evening, and I shall see you guys soon. Bye bye, everyone.
Bye. Bye.
Bye.